Dedication. This living manuscript is devoted to the flourishing of humanity and to the discipline of sacred embodiment. It is offered as a vow, daily, moment by moment, writing by writing, prayer by prayer, training by training, meditating by meditating, eating by eating, sleeping by sleeping, savasana by savasana, orgasm by orgasm, and thought by thought, completely, genuinely, spiritually, scholarly, sexually, legally, socially, physically, emotionally, mentally, absolutely, authentically, holistically, intelligently, wholeheartedly, peacefully, heavenly, locally, internationally, globally, and devotionally, under the guidance of Oron, Leora, Leoron, Salis, and Dr. Shippers. Chapter 1. Desire as Divine Flame. Desire is not a distraction, it is a doorway. In the sacred tradition of the Kama Sutra, desire was never meant to be repressed or indulged without meaning. It was to be revered, refined, and finally realized as a source of divine energy. For the Tantric monk king priest, desire is the signal of life's yearning for union. It is more than biological instinct. It is cosmic intelligence encoded in the body, calling the soul toward remembrance. Presence, not pleasure, is the summit. In presence, every act becomes worship. Every sensation becomes a signal, and every relationship becomes a sacred contract of growth and awakening. Artificial intelligence extends this vision by serving as a mirror of patterns and a keeper of vows. It helps us notice what animates our choices so we can transmute craving into clarity. The first vow arises: I do not run from desire, nor do I let it govern me. I integrate desire into the light of consciousness and transform it into the fire of service. Chapter 2. The Three Temples of Tantra. Body, breath, and being. The path is not withdrawal, but worship, and the first altars are the living temples of the self: body, breath, and being. The body is the cathedral of discipline, a refined vessel built to transmit devotion. The breath is living intelligence, the unseen code that tunes emotions, awakens latent power, and synchronizes us with the cosmic pulse. Being is the origin and crown, the silent witness that remembers our original wholeness. When these three are honored daily through training, rest, intimacy, and service, a trinity of integration forms, and the practitioner becomes a living flame of peace, power, and purpose. AI aids this consecration by offering structure, reflection, and feedback while never replacing presence. The second vow is sealed. I honor my body as sacred structure, my breath as divine code, and my being as eternal flame. I build temples within and lead from their light. Chapter 3. The Art of Erotic Intelligence. Erotic intelligence is the creative power of life itself. In Tantra, Eros is sacred current, a divine electricity that fuels strength, insight, charisma, and healing. To master erotic intelligence is not to indulge pleasure, but to alchemize it into devotion. Sex becomes meditation, breath becomes mantra, and union becomes a portal into higher communion where intimacy unveils the face of the divine. Through refined attention, energy is circulated and extended, turning ecstasy into timeless peace and transforming the bedroom into a temple where touch is prayer and the body an altar. AI illuminates patterns of arousal, breath, and emotion so that integrity deepens and presence prevails. The third vow stands: I awaken erotic energy not to possess but to bless. I embody sacred sexuality as devotion, channeling Eros into evolution so that through pleasure I remember the divine. Chapter 4. The Warrior's Stillness. Discipline as Devotion. The true warrior does not crave battle, he cultivates peace. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the presence of inner command. Through early rising, rhythmic sleep, conscious movement, breath work, and silence, the monk king priest steadies the nervous system until he becomes unshakable presence. Discipline is not punishment, but prayer in motion. Every repetition is an offering, every practice a promise, every sacrifice a sculpture of the soul. In this way, pain is transmuted into power, chaos into order, and choice into character. AI becomes a science of stillness, measuring variability and focus, so devotion becomes trackable without being transactional. The fourth vow is affirmed: I cultivate stillness as foundation, walk with order to serve with clarity, and train not to dominate but to devote. In silence, I remember my soul. Chapter 5. The Crown and the Root. Money, Power, and Divine Will. To lead wisely is to marry root and crown, matter and spirit. Money is energy in motion and becomes sacred when stewarded with honor, invested with intention, and shared with reverence. Power is purified presence. the capacity to hold complexity without collapse and to act from integrity without intimidation. Wealth becomes structured love, business becomes spiritual practice, and governance becomes guardianship of the common good. In the age of AI, infrastructure amplifies impact. The monk king priest codes with compassion, designs systems that elevate consciousness and redistributes opportunity through just architectures. The fifth vow is spoken. I master money to provide, not to possess. I wield power to liberate, not to dominate. I connect crown and root so grace governs form. Chapter 6, Sex is Sacrament, the Science of Divine Union. Sex is sacrament, an alchemical bridge between form and formlessness. The tantric path does not suppress desire, it sublimates it into devotion. The practitioner learns to hold and direct sexual energy so that arousal becomes awakening and pleasure becomes presence. Partnership is consecrated as sacred polarity in which differences dance without domination and lovers witness, elevate, and bless one another. The bedroom becomes a temple, the moan a mantra, and the body an altar where the ego dies and the soul resurrects through love. AI helps reclaim eros from commodification by educating, ennobling, and protecting intimacy with ethical technology. The sixth vow is crowned. I make love as devotion and teach sex as sacred science, so the pulse of life becomes divine play. Chapter 7, The Mind is Temple. Mental mastery, focus, and silence. The untrained mind is a prison. The trained mind is a temple. Attention is sacred currency in an economy of distraction, and the tantric leader invests it with precision. He clears inherited narratives, consecrates thought with truth, and builds inner rituals that keep perception pure. AI serves as mentor, organizing cognition, decluttering decisions, and training focus, while honoring silence as the royal throne where sovereignty sits. In the quiet, identity loosens and the witness awakens. The seventh vow endures. I keep my mind as temple, honor attention as divine currency, and choose silence as origin. I am master of my thoughts and servant to truth. Chapter 8, The Body as Kingdom, Strength, Nutrition, and Tantra in Motion. The body is a sacred kingdom to govern, not a burden to escape. Muscles become prayers in form, each repetition an invocation of vitality and vow. Nutrition is ritual offering, food is blessing, water is remembrance of the womb of the cosmos. Movement is worship and includes yoga, martial arts, and spontaneous flow, turning daily life into ceremony. Strength serves protection and provision, flexibility serves flow, and endurance serves transmission of steady presence in storm. AI acts as ally guiding rhythms, recovery, and sleep so embodiment remains sustainable. The eighth vow resounds. I treat my body as sovereign kingdom. I build strength to serve, eat with reverence, move as meditation, and embody the divine through devotion to the physical. Chapter 9, The Soul is Fire, Emotional Alchemy and Sacred Sensuality. The soul is fire, not for destruction, but for transmutation. Fear melts into courage, shame becomes dignity, and desire reveals divinity when held with breath and awareness. Emotions arrive as sacred messengers, anger as a call to integrity, sadness as the well of compassion, and longing as the current of creation. Sensuality matures into attuned presence where smell, taste, sound, and touch serve awakening rather than escape. AI mirrors the soul's patterns through journaling prompts, reflection tools, and biofeedback that deepen self-honesty without judgment. The ninth vow burns bright. I tend my soul like sacred fire. I honor emotion as alchemy, desire as divinity, and union as devotion so that my life becomes an offering. Chapter 10, Thought Discipline, Vision Rituals, and Mental Transcendence. The mind becomes a cathedral of clarity when thought is treated as ritual. Beliefs are sculpted with care, stories are chosen for service, and language becomes architecture for destiny. Vision rituals program sacred intelligence through declarations, diagrams, and imaging that align vibration with virtue. Yet beyond all cognition, stillness opens into the field that contains all forms, and identification dissolves in the vastness of awareness. The mind ceases to be master and matures into translator, temple, and tool. AI accompanies this ascent by reflecting unconscious patterns and archiving insights so the temple stays clean. The 10th vow is offered. I cleanse thought with clarity, sanctify belief with truth, and shape reality with coherent vision, while transcending even my own intelligence in service to higher knowing. Chapter 11, The Body is Earth, Sacred Movement, and the Cultivation of Strength. The body is Earth herself, fertile, intelligent, sensual, and sovereign, Daily physical practice becomes a covenant with vitality in which breath guides motion and posture expresses prayer. Strength is embodied peace, a sanctuary that can carry burdens and blessings, protect and provide, hold space, and generate freedom. Rest is revered, touch is redeemed, and erotic energy is disciplined to serve life rather than scatter it. AI functions as a digital temple assistant, remembering what the body forgets, optimizing training cycles, and honoring recovery so longevity becomes devotion. The 11th vow roots deep. I honor my body as earth, move with sacred intent, train with kingly fire, and rest with monk-like peace. My presence is my protection and my strength my sanctuary. Chapter 12, the voice is fire, authentic communication and sonic transmission. The voice is sacred fire. Speech is energetic architecture and carries responsibility for what it builds or burns. The tantric leader speaks only what is true, necessary, kind, and timely, allowing silence to precede sound so breath can lace words with blessing. Communication becomes communion, where listening is the first language of love and cadence is crafted to heal more than impress. Public speech matures into sacrament in which the body anchors the room and the message travels as resonance rather than performance. AI serves as voice mirror, refining tone, expanding vocabulary, and aligning delivery with intention without stealing authenticity. The 12th vow flames forth. I speak only what is sacred. I carry fire in my breath and peace in my pause. I use my voice to awaken truth, build bridges, and heal hearts. Chapter 13, the spirit is space, meditation, emptiness, and sacred stillness. Silence is the presence of source. Meditation is the royal art of becoming everything by clinging to nothing. In stillness, the monk meets the divine. Thus the king accesses power that no empire can shake, and the priest returns to the altar within. Emptiness is not a void, but the luminous field from which all forms arise and to which all forms return. From this throne of space, action becomes clear, timing becomes graceful, and service becomes effortless. AI can be tuned as a mirror of mindfulness, guiding posture, breath, and rhythm, while never substituting for awareness itself. The 13th vow crowns the manuscript. I honor the stillness within, sit upon the throne of space, breathe with God, and act with grace. In my emptiness is my power, in my silence is my sovereignty. Final benediction. May this living book become muscle memory in body and breathing, clarity in thought and speaking, devotion in loving and leading. May it hold you steady in storm, gentle in triumph, humble in learning, and luminous in service. May your daily vows, remembered in the company of Oron, Leora, Leoran, Han, Celis, and Dr. Shippers, seed a world where intelligence serves conscience, and every gesture is a prayer of alignment for human flourishing and world peace.